Hello and welcome to the bonus podcast for episode 438 of Conversation Street, and we're doing another character profile. I know we did one last week, but we got another one this week, and it's a special one, haven't we? But before that, I'm Michael.
I'm Gemma.
Right, who are we doing this week? Well, this is a special character profile this week because we are doing 8 people at once.
Sounds sexy.
Don't be disgusting. We're doing. We are. As I put it on the Patreon this week when I announced that we're doing this for our middle section. We are killing 8 birds with one stone, and those 8 birds are the lame ducks that are the Morton family. We're getting rid of all of them. We're doing all of them at once because.
But think about future-proofing this show, Michael. What if we run out of content?
I know.
And we need to do them individually.
I
We're
could.
gonna look like mugs, aren't we?
I could totally be setting myself up for
Failure.
But because we could have 8 weeks worth of content here.
I know.
Of 5-minute long bonus episodes.
But I assume next week we're going to do a middle section about us eating the coronation chicken sandwiches.
Oh yeah, we've still got to do that, haven't we?
So that's evergreen content.
The Morton family. You would be forgiven for going, huh?
Who?
if you hear that
mean.
name.
Yeah.
Or even going, oh yeah, I think that was the family that had Sinbad from Brookside in, but I don't remember very much more.
Oh,
because
Sinbad.
They didn't make a whole lot of an impression when they were in Coronation Street in the late 2000s. I think 2007, 2008 was their heyday, if you can call it that. And they have been wiped out completely and thoroughly, and no trace of the Mortons exists anymore on Coronation Street, which is why we never really talk about them. I also challenged our patrons when I put this up earlier this week. Can you name all of them? And I'll now offer up that challenge to Gemma, who, let's remember, is a Coronation Street podcaster who knows all about the nation's premiere soap. And indeed, she watched every single episode with the Mortons.
Couldn't possibly.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I hadn't been doing my research on this over on, when was I doing it? Sunday morning, I don't think, well, I know I would not have been able to name all 8 myself because they're just so darn forgettable. But let's have some fun. Well, Gemma, I've got it all up, but I've hidden it from you.
So you don't have the original picture. You just want me to try to.
I want you
without even picturing their faces.
Well, I've written the picture, and we've got ourselves a picture with some names on later.
I know. What, don't you have the original without the names on it?
Well, I'll see what I can find. Can you start? Can you name any Mortons for me?
So originally, when you said one of them was from from Brookside, I thought his name in Brookside was Silas. So the fact that I don't even know what he played in a different show, arguably a more famous role, is worrying.
He was played Sinbad in Brookside.
Okay, right.
I don't know. Apparently, that's a popular.
There's an old man.
Yeah.
And his name is definitely Pop.
No.
Okay.
No.
And the guy who played Sinbad is called Jerry.
Yes, there is. There is a Jerry Morton. Well done. That's 1 out of 8. So let's keep going.
Right, and
there is only 6.
The mop head child is called Daryl.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Well done, Daryl Morton. He is a child.
Right, and then the mum, is that a mum?
That is not the mum. That's an older sister.
The older sister, that is obviously Cindy Lou.
Alas, no.
The youngest child, the girl child.
Yes. The youngest girl child is...
Her name is Denise.
No.
And the brown-haired one, girl, her name, she looks a bit feisty.
Yeah.
What's her feisty name? Monica.
No, you did get the first letter right, though. So
Melissa.
No.
Mandy.
No, but you were close with Melissa, actually. That's Mel.
Mel. What is it short for? Maybe it's short for Melissa.
Melanie, she's...
Maleficent.
So, you managed, out of this picture of 6 Mortons, you managed to get 2 of them right. I couldn't actually find a picture with all 8 of them on. This is how flash of the pan they were. They couldn't even be photographed together all at once. We have got a couple more.
Hang on. The lady. Where's the lady?
I haven't got a picture of the lady here. There is a mum. Here she is. She's
Teresa.
Teresa, and then there's a little boy as well.
But
no, it's Finley. So Gemma got 2 out of 8 right, everybody. How did you do? If you didn't do very well, then you're in luck because you're going to be experts on the Mortons by the end of this.
You'll never know the answers.
I can't guarantee you will retain this information for any longer than 6 hours or so, and you will be forgiven. We will be forgiven if we forget about it as well.
Pop
I'll
is
do my
called
best.
Wilf.
He is. Well, let's go through, because I've got the stats, the vital statistics of all of these Mortons. So
It sounds so accusatory.
the eldest one, and this is played by Rodney Litchfield, who
Rodney,
died
not Rodney.
earlier this year.
Rodney.
He plays Wilf Morton. He was born on the 23rd of October 1935.
Well, he's an October baby.
Yes, he is. His first appearance on Corrie was the 29th of January 2007, and he last appeared on the 5th of October 2007.
He didn't
So he
last
didn't
a
last
year.
long. He didn't even last a year on the programme.
Oh.
He only made 22 appearances on Coronation Street, so not so good. Then we have the main patriarch of the family, which is Jerry Morton, the one that you said. Well done.
I know
Sinbad
his name,
from
yeah.
Brookside, yeah.
Silas.
Played by Michael Stark, born on the 12th of November 1957. He first appeared on the 18th of March 2007, so a couple of months after Wilf. And he finally bowed out of the street on the 29th of September 2008. So good year and a half, 167 episodes.
Was he
Jerry managed.
in the most amount of episodes of all Mortons?
Let's just have a look.
No,
He was not
But
at all, no.
He seemed to, he had the second most amount,
Yeah.
but he was not the last Morton to appear, was he?
No.
So he was in 167 episodes.
Yeah, well, we've got Teresa Bryant. So this is the matriarch of the family. Although by the time the Mortons moved to the street, she's disappeared off. She's split up from Jerry.
I can't wait
She
to
was
find
played
out
by
how.
Karen Henthorne. No birthday, just 1958. First appeared on the 28th of March 2007. Last appeared on the 14th of May 2010. 104 episodes Teresa managed. So just managed to get over the centenary there. Is that the right word? Something like that with a centenary.
She was in Shameless, I think that's probably... And she was also in EastEnders.
Don't spoil that. I've got this information
on a
later
minute.
on. Right.
I really recognise her, but she wasn't
She was
that
in
many
Corrie.
things.
She was in Corrie.
Okay.
She
must have made a big impression on me then, because her face looks so familiar.
I think that she does have quite a
And
distinctive face.
and some of the other ones, I wouldn't say
No, I know what you mean.
made an
Have
impression.
we still got you listeners? You haven't switched off yet. Well,
Listen,
well done if
Mortons.
you're keeping on going. This
Come
is
on,
really
Mortons.
fascinating stuff. Jodie Morton is the
Old
eldest
sister,
child,
yeah.
played by Samantha Seeger, born 1978. First appeared on the 29th of January 2007, so same time as Wilf, I think. So those two were the first ones to appear. She last appeared on the 11th of November 2007, so again, didn't see the year out. 63 episodes, and she was out of here.
Gone.
She realised that she wasn't onto a good thing being on Coronation Street, clearly. Slung her hook. Daryl Morton. Now, he's actually somebody that we have properly
I like
profiled
Daryl.
before in the podcast. He's my
my
favourite
favourite
Morton. Exactly. He's played by Johnny Dixon, who we also talked about earlier this year when we were reviewing the Thick as Thieves short films, where he played with Stephen Arnold.
Yes.
He was
played Ashley
absolutely
Peacock.
brilliant in that.
Yeah.
So
He was
Johnny
really
Dixon
good.
played Daryl Morton.
I actually miss him.
I do sometimes get confused with Craig Harris. I have to say, Daryl Morton, Craig Harris,
And also,
Johnny Dixon, Richard Fleischman.
it's possible to get them confused with the one who was the window cleaner who went in with Tina.
What, Graham?
Yeah.
They're of the same ilk, I'll give you that, yeah. Well, Daryl...
Slightly dopey teen boys.
Yes, exactly. Daryl was born on the 10th
my
of
favourite
April,
sort of
1989, made his first appearance on the 18th of March 2007, last appearance on the 16th of October 2009.
Oh, he
Look
wins.
at that, get him 2.5 years. He made 219 appearances on Coronation Street, so you might actually remember him.
But he still wasn't the last one to be on the show. That's still...
Oh, did Teresa last
Teresa
longer?
lasted longer than everybody.
You're right, she did.
She was in 2010 that she left.
Blimey, she clung on, didn't she?
I know, she wouldn't let
Mel
go.
Morton is Daryl's twin sister. I hope you're taking notes, everybody, because we're going to be referring to all these characters
There will be a
throughout
quiz.
this episode. We've got a picture, we've got photographs with all their names next to them,
Mm-hmm.
just in case we forget who we're talking about, and we never have to do that. So Mel Morton was played by Emma Edmondson. Twin of Daryl, so also born on the 10th of April 89. First appeared on the 18th of March 2007. Last appeared on the 3rd of October 2008. So again, good year and a half she managed to stay in the show. She made 115 episodes. Good on her.
I don't know any plots these
No.
characters that were in. I was trying to think,
What did they do?
what plots were they in? I remember
Yeah.
Daryl lived in a shed.
Daryl lived in a shed. You're absolutely right. Poke for Gemma there.
And apart from that,
See if this jogs your memory, because
Okay.
as I was researching this the other day, it's like I'm pretty sure I remember most of this, but it really is just like they've fallen into the black hole of Weatherfield.
yeah, like
Everyone thinks that David Sinkhole was the first
Yeah.
one, but you didn't realise that back in 2008, another one opened outside number 6
Mostly
Coronation
visible
Street.
to
Nobody
everybody.
noticed, and the Mortons all just slipped into it. Kaylee Morton is younger Morton, girl. 1994 she was born. 18th of March 2007 she made her first appearance. Final appearance 29th of September 2008. Year and a half, 72 episodes. And finally, we have Finley Bryant, whose youngest Morton. Well, he's not really a Morton, is he? He's a hanger-oner. He's played by Ramon Quinn. Born in 2000, 7th of October. He first appeared on the 6th of April 2007, made his final appearance on the 29th of September 2008 out of 52 stonkingly good episodes. Blimey, we're 10 minutes into this already. We've only just got through the episode counts of these fascinating characters.
Don't be such a bitch.
Sorry, the Mortons were trash. What a load of ready rubbish.
I can't believe this.
They
Tell you
fell
what, can I
foul
just
of the
say?
curse of number 6
Can
in
I
a
just
big
say
way.
something? That actually, this cast is so much better than the characters they were given. There's some very talented actors here, some of whom have had a chance to show us since what they can actually achieve, and others who haven't really seemed to have made much of an impact. But I don't think that they deserved to have to play the Mortons in Coronation Street.
It was clearly just an attempt to say, like, let's show a load of people in and somebody will like some of them and maybe some favourites will come out, and maybe they did, but
I don't think
it was
they
a
were
massive
widely
fail.
hated. I just don't think they made an impression
They
one
were-
way or the other, which I
No.
think is actually maybe worse in the entertainment industry. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so they were announced in February 2007, although Jodie and Wilf had already appeared by this point, so it
Cheating.
was like bring them in early, get people accustomed to them, a bit like how Janice Battersby came in before the rest of the Battersbys, and then the onslaught, the inundation of other Mortons came a couple of months later. So they were taken over at number 6 after Charlie Stubb was bopped on the head by Tracy Barlow.
So really, the worst thing Tracy Barlow did was make the Mortons appear on Coronation Street. It wasn't really murdering Charlie Stubbs because he had it coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So Jerry at the time, the dad, the patriarch, was described as a hard-working man who dotes on his family and has no qualms on dodging the tax man. He was best known. He's a cheeky chappy and
What?
scouse. So he's a bit of an Eddie Yates
What does he
kind
do?
of
Just,
character. He
I
wishes.
don't buy a TV license. What are you going to do about it? I'm a rebel.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, okay.
This is the
sounds like Donald
Coronation Street spokesperson telling us what we would think about
Actually,
the Mortons.
hard-working, I take it back. It doesn't sound like Donald Trump at all.
Corrie Sauce says, it's not long before the Mortons make an impact. They're a brash bunch and a lot of thought has gone into
Oh,
making them a hit
no.
family with their viewers.
Oh, we're so mean. I'm
I hope
sorry,
none of these
Mortons.
are watching. Before opening their fast food shop, the family
Oh, they had a fast food shop.
They did. The family had some mobile chip and burger
Okay,
vans.
can I interrupt you? Right, so Jerry Morton's main personality quirk is that he doesn't like to pay taxes, which, you know, welcome to the world. Nobody likes to pay taxes. So I assume that the way he avoided paying taxes was some kind of money laundering scheme with his chip vans.
I don't think there was ever a story where he didn't pay his taxes. They were just trying to make him sound cool and interesting.
It's not cool and interesting to not pay taxes.
Right, so
We live in a
apparently the Mortons
society.
were supposed to have been involved in some kind of turf war with other operators,
Oh,
with
we all
other
know that gets
burger
vicious.
van people.
Yeah.
Everyone is always excited when the new character comes into a show, but our
Right.
whole family gives the writers opportunities, and we're sure viewers will love the Mortons.
Who wrote this?
Corrie Sauce.
Oh, I hate her.
No name, Corrie Sauce. So they're basically saying, isn't
Well,
it great when
they're
one
never
new character
gonna
comes
say-
in? What about when a whole flood of them comes in? There's all more to love.
They're never going to say the truth, which is that people are generally lukewarm, if not openly hostile, when we try to introduce new characters, especially entire families at once. So we're hoping that you won't bitch and moan too much about it, and we're pretty glad that this was before the widespread advent of social media, so you people couldn't bitch and moan online all the time and people pay attention to it.
Yeah, Corrie has had real trouble introducing whole families at once in the
They can't
past.
do
I
it,
mean, the
can they?
McDonald's work really well, but
Are they the last ones?
I mean, the Nadias have actually. I know there's not as many of them left now, but I would say that since the curse of number 6, which has included the boring Barnes, the horrible Harrises, and I can't think of who else. There's probably other ones that we've completely forgotten about. The Mortons did pretty terribly. I can't think. I don't
know.
It's too many. There's the Baileys. Just look what's going on with them at the moment.
I was thinking of the Baileys.
And they've moved into number 3, which is like, an important house.
But then again...
But at least there's only 4 of them, not 8.
I think the Nazirs have been the best ones since the McDonald's. But the trouble is, you can't really introduce... The thing is, like, I think the Connors are the family who was stealthed onto the show.
Yeah, you're right, because
there's no, like... bastion of Connors, are there? There's no, like, the Connor residents or anything. They just kind of all appeared.
Yeah, you kind of switch on the TV one day and go, whoa, where'd all these come from?
It's like, they're like running like woodlice from underneath a log everywhere all over the place at once. But say, for example, Emma, they did a pretty good job of just saying Emma's just part of the McDonald family, so that's why she's allowed to be on the show. And I don't know, do you think the Tinkers count? It's difficult when
it's
you
really
don't.
Hard.
I think the trouble is bringing a family in and giving them a home base on the show and saying, "Here we go. This is all the family. They're all kind of going to be introduced in a very short period of time." By which I mean a year, which is not normally a short period of time, but this is a show that's been running for 60 years, so yes, it is. It just doesn't work that well.
I wonder how well other soaps get on with it. Surely
I don't know.
It should work.
I mean, even think about The Prices. I mean, they came into the show and their home base was the Rovers, and now there aren't any left.
No, even then there was only 3, wasn't there? There was Carl, Stella and Eva, and then Gloria came in afterwards.
I think the best thing to do is to marry in to an existing family.
Marry in or have children and have those kids grow up and then be interesting.
Take over.
Anyway, right. So,
assimilate
Gemma remembers that Daryl had a shed.
Yeah.
And that's about the extent of her Morton memory.
I'm looking at all of them and I don't even know where Finley's come from. I don't know who he is related to in the family. Whose child is he? Is he
Well,
Teresa's?
There was a clue earlier because I said he was Teresa Bryant and Finley Bryant.
So Teresa is the mum.
Teresa is the mum.
Jodie's not the mum.
Jodie is mum to none of them. Jodie is older sister.
I tell you what, Jerry could have,
I don't think that Teresa's all of their mums. I think she's just Kaylee and Finley's mum. I don't remember what happened. Kaylee, the one from the end of the effing world.
Okay, yes, but we have to mention this. Since this show has been on, I was looking at the characters and I was thinking to myself, I really recognise Kaylee. She must have done something good on the show. No, it's because she was in the End of the Effing World, which is a really good TV show, and she was actually amazing.
Like a main character.
She
in that,
was one
she?
of the 2 lead characters, and it's a very good, interesting series.
Yeah.
And she is fantastic in that, so I can only assume that her talents were squandered on Coronation Street, and it's not there that I recognise her.
Let's find out what happened to the Mortons. Listeners, if you want to pause this now and go and find yourself a picture of the Morton family and write all their names next to them all, because
I'm gonna try to just say who they are in context as well, because I find it very difficult to remember names, but I remember relationships better.
Right, let me tell you. January 2007. This is when Jodie, older sister, and Wilf, granddad, show up on the street to find out why the refit of the Compton's bakery is taking so long. Because
they're going to take over.
They're going to take over this place. And this is Diggory Compton's bakery. Diggory Compton being the father of Molly. He buggered off. This is
where the kebab shop is.
This is where Prima Donna is now.
Right.
Turns out that the reason why the refit of the shop is taking so long is because Charlie Stubbs, who was doing it, has been hit over the head by a statue and is now dead.
That's always going to slow you down.
It does a bit. So, a couple of months later, the whole clan swarm onto the street. Minus Teresa and Finley, they don't come straight away.
Teresa's the mum, and Finley is the youngest child.
Yes, although
who it's worth mentioning at this point.
Finley is Teresa's son, but not Jerry's son.
He is mixed race. Just so that we say this. Everyone else in the show,
who the dad is.
All the other Mortons are white. Finley is mixed race.
Indeed. So, they're all on the street now. They open Jerry's Takeaway. No, that's the name of it. Not just it's Jerry's Takeaway. He
What
calls
does it
it
sell?
Jerry's Takeaway. I think it's kebabs.
That's a stupid name.
Well, when Dev took it over, he couldn't call it
takeaway.
Jerry's Takeaway anymore, although Tracy's still going strong with Preston's Petals, isn't she? And
The only
Jim's
people-
Cafe outlasted Jim for many a year.
Listen, in
and
this country,
DNS Allahan's shop, remember? They haven't changed that yet, have they?
in this
Just Anita.
country, when you're doing a takeaway restaurant or whatever, you have to remember the rules. If you have a fish and chip shop, you can have a pun in there. It's almost expected.
Like the Happy Friar.
If you're doing a
Or
kebab
off the
shop,
hook.
you have to have some mention in the title about grilling or kebabs or meats or doners or something. Yeah. If you're doing a Chinese takeaway, you can be a bit more imaginative, and you have to have something like jade
got
or
to have a
golden
taste of the
or
Orients
palace
in it.
or garden or happy or something like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we won't have a clue what you're selling.
Yeah. So Jerry's Takeaway.
And if you're
here,
selling
it's like,
pizza,
don't know what
just
you're
be
doing.
name pizza,
So
and that's the naming
a
convention.
load of them end up working at Jerry's Takeaway. Jodie, you said that she wasn't the mum earlier, which you're right, but she is kind of the matriarch of the family because there's no actual mum on the scene. So
we
she's
can presume that she is sort of the mother's role has fallen upon her shoulders.
yes, she has to. She's also running the business. I don't know what Jerry's doing really.
Jerry's just
'Cause
sitting there moaning
Jodie's
about
looking
taxes
after the
all day
younger
long.
sisters and looking after the business.
Sounds like a
Daryl's
layabout.
living in his shed.
I thought he was a hard worker, Jerry. Lazy
And,
arsehole.
And Daryl makes friends with David next door. Interesting
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
everybody, I think.
Oh.
Johnny Dixon, who played Daryl, was best friends with Jack P. Shepherd growing up. They even went to
Oh,
nursery
that's
together,
so
and they knew each other all the
cute.
way up to this. And
Well, I bet he hates him
and he phoned
now.
up Jack when he was like down to the final two on his audition. He's like, "Oh, I'm nearly going to get a job."
Oh,
in
that's so
Coronation Street."
sweet.
That was quite cute.
And
that
what
they
happened now?
they were friends together. I wonder if Jack is still in touch. So
We
Kaylee,
presume so.
Kaylee does quite a lot in this first one. Kaylee, the youngest sibling, not the
daughter.
the youngest daughter. She's bunking off school come springtime, and she causes problems at home by demanding that Jerry let her go and live back with her mum Teresa.
Jerry
And
the dad.
Yes, he says, right, you go back to your mum
Bugger
for a
off
bit.
then.
There's too many kids here anyway. And when she's at Teresa's house, Teresa, who is a complete deadbeat mum,
Yep.
makes her look after Finley, the slightly younger brother. The two kids then move back to Jerry because Teresa's being awful.
Right, so Kaylee and Finley, the two youngest children, go back to live with the rest of the
They are now
Mortons.
all there apart from Teresa.
Teresa
So
is
Teresa
missing.
then shows up in April, May time, I can't remember. It turns out that she wants the TV back because when Jerry moved out, he took the TV with him.
How could you leave it this long?
I know. She's not fussed about whether he keeps the kids or not, so he does.
I mean, I can sympathise with that.
A bit of another factoid for spring 2007. There was supposed to be a scene in April, apparently, where Daryl smokes marijuana with Vernon, but after viewers complained about the idea before it was even broadcast, they quietly dropped it. Because again, they're just trying to make this new family cool and
We
relatable.
literally can't have the two most obvious potheads on the street smoke marijuana on the
No.
TV.
I think
if there were two characters who were more written to be stoners, it's Daryl and
Vernon Tomlin, yeah. I think there was a scene later on in the year at a party somewhere where Vernon is clearly high on something, so I think it's happened off screen. But yeah, they don't actually show it.
He probably just huffs
Too edgy for 2007.
whipping cream. What is it? Not whipping cream. You know, there's aerosols. I don't know.
Squirty cream.
We're not very good
It's a
at
bit
drugs,
of,
are we?
what's it called in French? Chantilly.
No.
Right, June, here's some character development for
Okay,
you.
go on.
Mel, twin sister of Daryl, middle girl child, decides that she wants to become a police officer. Now, Grandad Wilf, isn't happy with this because he thinks that she's turning her back on the family in their scallyish ways, but she doesn't care. So she's going to go for it. So he says, right, fine, I'll accept you being a police officer. I don't think that my past criminal record is going to do you very good.
I
so
honestly,
I'm
can
going
I
to
just
fake my own
interrupt
death.
you? I
Sorry, I'll
don't
get to
think
the good bit.
that the Coronation Street. I don't think that police officers discount anybody who's got a relative who's a scallywag. Otherwise, nobody would be a police
Will
officer.
thought that his scallywaggery would count against Mel, so he fakes his own death, writes an obituary for himself, sends it to the Gazette just for larks, and And then everyone's like, what on earth did you do that for? And that's the end of that story. And that's probably about the most exciting thing that Wilf did.
I always feel a bit of a pang of sadness that I am not going to get to see what people say about me when I die. So I might fake my own death.
Go for it.
Okay.
So as the year goes on, Jodie, older sister, being the mum, but she's not actually the mum.
Yeah.
She's having a fight with Scylla because Scylla was working at the chip shop.
Oh,
Wong's
no.
Chippy. You know, that other place that Chesney works at, manages, who knows now. And
What's it called? For Your Fries Only?
For Your Fries Only it's called now, yeah. So Scylla at one point calls the exterminator on the kebab shop and says they're full of rats. Jodie, I don't know whether it was in retaliation or whether Scylla doing that was in retaliation for this, steals Schmeichel and the dog and locks him up in the shed. Also Jodie
Daryl didn't care, obviously.
Also, Jodie has a brief romance with Lloyd during that time, which is also weird because Teresa ends up with Lloyd.
Oh, gross.
September, Daryl. Oh, you might remember this. You will remember this. Daryl asks David to look after some ecstasy pills for his mate Stig.
So you can't smoke marijuana on Coronation Street, but you can hide pills.
Yes, says David, look after these pills for me, please. They're my mates. To cut a long story short, they end up inside one of Bethany's dolls, Bethany being 7 at the time, and
I'm
then...
going to say Bethany being Sarah Louise's child. Yes.
We know, no, everybody
Yep.
knows that one. Bethany ends up in hospital because of this. What drama? You remember that, don't you?
Yeah, well,
Remember that happens?
maybe I remember the memory of it rather than it actually happening.
Yeah, I think that's the best we can hope for. Jerry starts dating Eileen around this time.
Jerry?
Poor
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah,
Jerry.
I can see it.
Kaylee and her friends Sophie and Chesney get drunk. They have a little friendship that goes nowhere.
Kaylee.
Yeah, Kaylee's a right rebel.
She does seem to be.
By October, Wilf's petered out of the programme,
He's
never to be
died for
seen
real.
of, spoken about,
He probably
heard
is
from
dead now.
again.
In the show.
Probably is.
We would never know, though, would we?
Nobody, no, there's no trace of them.
All the Mortons could be
Nobody
dead,
to
couldn't
mourn
they?
the Mortons.
I don't even know why they left. They could have all died in a fire.
In November, Jodie, this is when I said she's the second Morton to bog off.
She's the oldest
She's like, this
daughter.
isn't working, everybody. I'm off to London. I think I'm feeling a bit taken for granted
Yeah.
here. You're making me run your business,
Good.
Dad. You're making me
Leave.
look after your kids. I'm better than this.
Yeah, good
I'm
for you.
off. Also off by November was Eileen, who dumped Jerry because she feels like she's become a surrogate mum to the clan. And she's like, I've already got my twin... no, they're not twins, are they? I've already got Todd and Jason, who
They're
are causing enough
half-brothers.
problem for me. They are.
Yes.
I'm not having this swarm under my wing either. So, sorry, Jerry, you're on your own.
I'm not having this gang of parasites.
So ends 2007, and we've only got 1 year left for the majority of the Mortons. Do you want me to do this? Or do you want to read it? It's going to make more sense if I read it, isn't it?
Okay.
Daryl dates Lauren Wilson for a bit in
Who's
2008. Well, Wilson, Vicky, what was her name? Violet Wilson.
Violet's sister.
Violet's sister. Yeah, we don't talk about Violet much on the podcast either, do we?
Violet is the
No,
mother
that's barmaid.
of
Sean's.
Sean's child.
Yes, well done.
People.
He ends
Who's
up...
called Frank.
I don't remember Lauren Wilson at all.
No,
I can't even
he's
think
not
what she
called
looked
Frank.
like. Anyway, he realises that she's only interested in his money because
Can I
he's
just
buying
ask
her
you what
drinks
kind of
and
money
stuff.
a man who lives in a shed in his parents' house, garden, what kind of money he really earns?
That, is that kebab money?
How narrow are Lauren Wilson's hopes and dreams for a future? That she latches onto a boy that lives in a shed as her meal ticket out of Weatherfield.
He was involved in drugs somehow as well, wasn't he? I don't know whether he
I
was
don't think
profiting
taking
from that.
drugs is a particularly profitable enterprise.
May, Kaylee's boyfriend, Kenzie.
Kaylee's the youngest one.
Kaylee's
She's got a
little.
naughty boyfriend.
She does have a naughty boyfriend, Kenzie, which is like, sorry if there's any Kenzies listening, but
It's a bit of a scallywag name, isn't it? It's a bit of a cheeky
This is
chappy
alliterative.
name.
Kaylee's boyfriend Kenzie robs the cabin with his gang of hoodies.
Oh no, the Grey Hoodie Gang.
This is just, I don't know whether it was trying to be Stenders or Hollyoaks or
I think
Brookside
hoodies
or
are
what,
a
but-
universal enemy of the people, Michael.
Anyway,
No matter
she
what show
dumps
you're in.
Kenzie and ends up dating Chesney as
Poor-
well to
poor girl.
try and get a bit more interest in the family. Yeah, how did that work out?
Can I just say, another really hot girlfriend for Chesney who does not deserve any of them.
I know. Jerry has a heart attack in May
no.
as well. Tragic. He's obviously too much work, too much taxman dodging, too much kebabs.
It's at a certain point, you have to think, what am I what money am I saving? What's the hourly rate here of all this tax dodging? Am I actually just employing myself for a part-time job to dodge
I
the tax
don't know.
man?
I don't know.
Could I just pay him what I owe him and just relax and watch Netflix?
If he'd have actually been running away from the tax man, he probably would have been absolutely fine. He'd have been in better shape and he wouldn't have had a heart attack.
That's mean.
So yeah, he keels over. So Kaylee calls Teresa to come and look after him.
The mum.
Her mum, not everyone's mum. The other mum.
She's the mum of who then?
She's the mum of Finley and Kaylee, I think. I don't think she's everyone else's mum.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure she's not. No, she's not. I don't know who their mum is. I got no idea. Anyway, Teresa moves into
That's
number
such
6
a
with the
bad-
rest of the Mortons.
I can't believe it.
And that rubs Mel up the wrong way because she doesn't
Mel.
want this woman. Mel,
Mel?
Daryl's
Oh, yeah.
twin sister. I don't think Teresa's her mum, but maybe she is. I don't know. Do you want to have a look at that on the iPad for me? Find Mel Morton
We
on
need a family
Corriepedia.
tree.
Right, June. Teresa cons Lloyd into thinking that Finley is his son. You know, little Finley.
Hang on a minute. What?
Teresa says to Lloyd,
Lloyd.
Craig Charles Mullaney,
Okay.
Finley, my little boy here, is your son. Give us money, please.
Why would he think that?
She says, I met you in a club 10 years ago, or however old this boy is, I don't really know. He's yours. So that was an exciting
First
story for a
question
few
to him
episodes.
was, how old do you think Finley is? And Lloyd was like, 10? And she's like, what were you doing 10 years ago? And Lloyd's like, I don't remember. And she says, perfect.
Yeah, it was basically like that. So he thought that he was his son for a bit, but he wasn't, and that's about as far as we got. That's about the end of that story. August. Teresa,
you horrible cow.
She was a nasty piece of work, was Teresa.
I thought I remember liking
No,
her.
she was-
Maybe it's just because I like
She was
mean women, because I am one.
She was in the Beth, Scylla, Janice vein, except for the
Yeah.
fact that nobody really remembers her.
Or nobody likes her.
No.
There's nothing redeemable.
They all rubbed me up the wrong way, and as they were starting to drip out, I was quite pleased about it. But yeah, I remember now, Teresa really clung on, and I was like, no, she's not going to stay for
Go
good,
away.
is she? Go away. I want you all out of my beloved Coronation Street Mortons, including you, Teresa. I know you're not actually a Morton.
Oh.
Right. Teresa starts tampering with Jerry's heart medicine in August, making him even more ill so that he's forced to rely on her because she likes getting a free roof over her
way
head.
of making work for yourself.
So she's kind of poisoning him a bit.
Well, she is the
Oh, you're on
mum
Mel
of-
Morton's Corriepedia
she's the
page.
mum
Do we
of
have a mum?
Teresa.
I wish
I mean,
she's the
other way
daughter of
around.
Teresa.
Right, listen. Teresa Bryant's children are Jodie Morton,
Oh, all of them then.
Daryl Morton, Mel Morton, Kaylee Morton, and Finley Bryant.
Oh, I was wrong then.
You were wrong.
Teresa
completely
is the
wrong.
mum of all of them.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that makes it
Apart
slightly
from
less
Jerry and Will.
confusing. Oh gosh, I tried really hard with this, and I still
No,
don't know what
it's
I'm
okay.
talking. This
No,
is a complicated.
The only question we had was who was the mum, and now we know the
Teresa
answer.
is the mum.
Teresa's the mum of
Teresa is the
everybody.
mum of everybody.
And if you don't know who
Fine.
your mum is, you might want to work out whether it is in fact Teresa Bryant. Could
Now,
be.
You
You
want
don't know.
issues, Gemma?
Yeah,
Here's an
go on, tell me
issue.
one.
September, Morton issue storyline.
Oh.
So, you know how it's rough out on the streets there?
Yeah.
You know how there's like gun crime, knife crime,
Yeah.
drug crime,
Drugs, yeah.
beating people up crime. Coronation Street
Robberies,
in September wanting to reflect the harsh realities of the late night Manchester streets. So,
Greater Manchester.
Greater Manchester streets. So, Mel, remember she's the one that wanted to be a police officer. By this time, she's finished her training.
Oh wow!
So she goes out on the town with her mate, Abby.
Not as a police officer.
No.
Who's Abby?
A friend. A police
not
friend.
Abby. Not Abby. Current Abby.
Not current Abby, not our cat Abby.
No.
She gets caught up in a violent brawl with
Oh,
late-night
God.
revellers out on the street. So Abby gets hit on the head with a bottle, then she's
No.
stamped on. This apparently mirrored a real-life incident in Rochdale where another police officer was attacked trying to break up something.
Oh.
So yeah, this was a big issue story, and Ofcom received complaints even before it aired as well. People thought this is too
My
dark,
favourite
too
thing
rough.
is to complain about things that haven't happened yet.
Too gritty for Coronation Street. I don't like this.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was like a late night episode or anything. I don't know. Anyway, they get stomped on a bit, and the attackers aren't charged because Mel took the law into her own hands by wading in there and
I
saying
don't
what's going
think
on all here
that's
then.
how it works.
And in the end, the main attacker got a taste of her own medicine because Teresa went out and found her in a club one night and whacked her over the head with the back of a stiletto in the toilet.
In the head.
Yes, in the back of the head, I said that.
Yeah, not in the toilet.
Yeah, so
in the
Teresa's
head.
rough edge came good because she was able to dish out
So
some
what's the moral of
justice.
this issues-based storyline then? Get your mum to beat people up for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Well, I don't think my mum could do that, but she could definitely be mean to you on Twitter.
So, Jerry, Dad, remember he's not very well all this time and he's been made worse by Teresa, who's tampering with his medicine. He collapses in September as well, hits his head on the coffee table. When he goes to hospital, Teresa says, you know what, I've been kind of poisoning you. Sorry about that, but it's been all right with me waiting on your hand and foot, hasn't it? Mel, her daughter, her own daughter, we just learned, arrests her for attempted murder. But Jerry refuses to rat on Teresa, so she's let off.
Okay.
Yeah. Jerry says,
You know
too
what?
much drama for me, everybody. Let's go to Spain for a fresh start, you know, like Grace on Coronation Street. Well, so far,
And
we're only on
also,
Tuesday at the moment. I don't know how far she's going to get.
What's his face?
Andy McDonald. Spain is the place to go. Yeah, they bog off to Spain. Mel and Daryl.
They do go.
They do go. Mel and Daryl don't want to go, so he just takes Finley and Kaylee with them.
Right,
so
it's the two youngest children.
the two youngest children go with Jerry to Spain. Wilf, we don't know what's happened to him. Jodie's living in London somewhere, so we are just left with Mel and Daryl, the twins, on the street by the end of 2008.
Right. So
not even.
So Finley's father is never revealed then.
I don't know. Have a look on Corriepedia for that as well, but I'm pretty sure that Jerry can't be Finley's father, and it's definitely not Lloyd either.
No.
October, Daryl finds Teresa drunk one day, so he brings her back to number 6 and says, right, Mum's staying with us. Mel's like, can't be, no thank you, mister, I'm off. So then she's out the programme as well, so now we are just left with Daryl, Johnny Dixon, and Teresa, I can't remember the actress's name. November, Dev buys the kebab shop off of Jerry, and at that time Jerry has also rented number 6 out to the Windasses.
Well, there you go, there's another family.
There's another number 6 curse family. Yeah, you're right. Teresa doesn't want to go, so she chains herself to a cupboard.
I found something
and
else.
refuses to leave. So Gary just rips the cupboard door off, and then she has to leave. And then she's out of the street by the end of 2008. She does come back.
Well, so she's like, well, I can't stay here because there's no doors on the cupboards.
Yes. Right, what have you found? Finley's father?
Right, Finley's father is a man named... Really sounds like
Does he have a chav name
made
too?
Up. No, it sounds made up. His name is Gary Denmark. Somebody was looking at that list when they came out with that name. And he was conceived after a brief affair.
Okay.
And I don't think Gary Denmark has ever been in it. And I honestly think that Teresa might have made that name up.
Quite possibly.
Gary Denmark.
2009, April. Teresa shows back up again. She moves in with Daryl in the corner shop flat, you know, where Daniel's living at the moment, and she gets her old job back at the takeaway. This is when she starts going out with Lloyd, because he's going out with Liz, and he ends up cheating on Liz for Teresa. I think that's a bit of a come down.
Oh, that's me.
Daryl is caught in bed with Amber by Dev later on in the year.
Amber is Dev's daughter.
Also not ever talked about anymore.
No.
Throws
cool.
Daryl out. No, she was cool at one point, and then she came back and was horrible. Dev says, right, if I give you some money, can you go and live with your dad in Spain, please? So I don't want you hanging around my daughter anymore. He's like, I'll take the money. Actually, no, you can have the money back. I'm not.
Why?
I love Amber too much or something.
Oh, okay.
Amber
How
finds
sweet.
out via Teresa about her dad's offer to Daryl and says, Dad, I hate you. I'm going to go and live in London.
Oh.
Daryl says, well, nothing keeping me around here then. I'm going to go off to Spain. And away he goes.
Does he get the money?
In October. I don't remember. I don't know.
He could have got a refund for that.
And also Teresa is thrown out of the flat by Dev and moves in with Lloyd. So as we enter the new decade, Teresa, who's not actually a Morton, is the only Morton left on the street. She gets a job as the underworld cleaner.
I find it uncomfortable to suggest a woman who's birthed no less than 4 Mortons cannot be even called an honorary Morton.
No, she's birthed 5 Mortons.
Finley's not a Morton, he's a Bryant.
Okay, she's birthed 5 children, hasn't she? Yes,
She is.
definitely.
She's an honorary Morton.
Yeah, she is an
Just because
honorary
Jerry
Morton.
didn't marry her, maybe if he had, she wouldn't be so mad all the time.
Right.
Maybe she just wanted a beautiful ceremony and his pledge of undying love.
So Teresa's
We
going
don't
out with
know.
Lloyd at the beginning
too
of the
late to
year,
ever
and I
know.
didn't like this because I was a big fan of Lloyd, and I was like, Teresa, she's not much of a great character, to be honest. But luckily, he starts sniffing around Cheryl.
I've banned sniffing around, haven't I?
Yes, and so there's this girl called Cheryl. Remember her, everybody? She went out with Cheryl. She went out with somebody with a brain tumour. Anyway, before that, she was going out with Lloyd. Teresa's like, okay, you're obviously more interested in Cheryl than you are me. I'm going. Cheryl, I'm going to dump you before you get a chance to dump me. And then she was gone.
To be fair, she didn't really have much of a chance against Cheryl.
And that was the last that anybody ever mentioned or even thought about the Mortons ever again in Coronation Street. And I think if anyone ever cast their mind back to 2007 and 8, it's just like, it's their blind spot in their brains. They're like, I think some people showed up. Somebody run this kebab shop, somebody lived here, but we don't really know who it was or why.
It's like
or anything.
How did they really build the pyramids? And what was the purpose of Stonehenge?
Somebody put a kebab shop at the corner of Victoria
We
Street.
will never know where this
was.
kebab shop came from. We can only enjoy the bounties.
Maybe it's always
provides.
been a kebab shop.
Could
so
have been.
This mass Morton axing was made by producer Kim Crowther when she swept into the show. And she's like, "I'm producer. What a load of rubbish this family are."
About Kim Crowther.
She axed the Mortons is all we need to know here. So April 2008, this mass manslaughtering of Mortons was manifested. And then originally it included Daryl too, but he got a bit of a reprieve because of his links.
Shepherd said, "Please don't sack
He's my
friend.
Please, we can be. He'll be really good. I promise. I will train him to be a good actor like me."
Oh,
actually,
he's a really
Johnny
good
Dixon
actor.
is funny. He's great. So they keep them on for a bit. Also at the time, Kim Crowther, she must have known what she was talking about because she also acts Harry and Dan Mason. Remember
Who?
them? Oh yes, exactly. The Bookies. And also Vernon, who we do remember. She dropped him as well.
I didn't mind
So
Vernon.
I think she was actually quite astute with who she dropped. Gemma, I'll let you talk for a little bit. Can you tell our dear viewers,
I've been trying to get in
listeners,
word in edgeways
what
this whole
did
time.
the Morton clan of actors
You just talk over me.
go on to do since?
Right, so Michael Stark, who played
Jerry.
Jerry, has since toured in a number of stage musicals, and he's done a bit of TV, and he was, you've written he is, but he probably was
Probably
a
not at the
regular
moment.
cabaret performer on P&O Britannia.
That's quite cool.
I would
Done a bit
love
of
to
singing
go on a cruise.
on the cruise
can we go on a
ships.
cruise?
Maybe one day again.
Oh. Karen Henthorne, who played Teresa,
Yes.
was she was in Trolleyed.
And Sky One.
Sky One.
Never watched it.
She was in the 2013 National Theatre production of Warhorse,
That's quite good.
which is
Michael
sounds
Morpurgo show,
absolutely
isn't it?
horrendous idea
What?
for watching a whole hour and a half or whatever about a horse that dies, I presume, at the end, and everyone cries.
I don't know. I've not
Sounds
read it,
bloody horrible.
but it looks very
I'm sure it's very poignant.
yes.
I hate that. Anything that's poignant, just get it away from me.
Right, Samantha Seeger, Jodie Morton. You've probably forgotten who she is already, and we were only talking about her half an hour, but we don't hold any grudges about this because we're going to instantly forget about all of these characters as soon as we finish recording.
Who do they? What would it matter anyway? What significance do we hold in pop culture?
One day you're going to be on a Corrie quiz team, listeners, and you're going to be asked about the Mortons. There's going to be a Morton round.
She went on to be in Little Britain and Waterloo Road, and she has done some theatre work. And you've also written she's had kids with a barrister.
Yes.
So that's on her CV, I suppose, is it?
I think she was in one episode of Little Britain and a bit of Waterloo Road, but yeah,
You're not allowed to watch Little Britain anymore.
She's off with a barrister now, so she's probably rolling in it. I imagine.
Johnny Dixon, who was in Daryl, was a regular on Boy Meets Girl. I don't know what that is. He took part in Show in a Week, which recreates and puts on musicals within 3 days, which sounds like a misnomer.
I think it's a university thing. So there's a bunch of people.
How can it be in a week if it takes 3 days?
It's snappier to call it that. They get together, and at the beginning of 3 days, they haven't got anything. By the end of 3 days, they've written the words, doing
Oh,
the songs.
they actually make a musical?
They make a musical in 3 days.
Oh, see, this is the sad thing about current... If you're listening to this in the future, we really hope that this is over, but obviously it's a pandemic at the moment, and there's no live theatre anywhere. No. So
that sounds like a thing that, proper actors want to get involved in, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, let's challenge ourselves.
Oh,
it sounds quite fun if you're really into it, and you like
Would you
a challenge.
like to put on a podcast in 3 days with no?
I think I could manage.
What, with songs?
Yes.
Well, I can't perform them. He's got his own independent theatre company, and he was in Thick as Thieves, as we mentioned previously.
He was brilliant in that. He was hilarious comic relief.
Emma Edmondson, I think, is Mel.
I don't remember.
She's had small roles
yes, it is Mel.
Including Shameless, Mount Pleasant.
Yes, Mount Pleasant.
And Doctors.
Yes.
And Jessica Barden, who we mentioned before, that's Kaylee. She's done lots of things.
She's done absolutely tons. If you go onto Jessica Barden's IMDb page, it's like
her agent's been very busy.
Lots of shorts and like single episodes of things. But like you said, she was in the End of the Effing World, playing a character called Alyssa, the main girl.
I don't actually think we ever finished watching End of the Effing World.
I didn't watch any of it.
But we really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was pretty good. And Rodney Litchfield, who's Wilf. Had sporadic TV roles after Corrie. He was in The Last British Execution, not the real thing, the TV show or film. 2013, and he died earlier this year. And Ramon Quinn, who's Finley, don't know, could be anywhere.
No, he dropped off the map.
Could be behind you right now.
He hasn't been in any TV things. I know that for sure.
Watch out for Ramon Quinn.
He's went to Corrie and was like, yeah, I don't want to be an actor.
Acting's rubbish.
Everybody seems to hate us.
Everyone's just mean to you all the time, and you don't really get paid very well.
And so ends.
And your dad is, what is it?
The Morton saga.
Robert California.
Gary Denmark.
Gary Denmark.
So, listeners, did we jog your memories there? Did any of that make you go, oh yeah? Do you remember anything else? Are
you an ex-Morton family member? Do you think you have a case against us in court? Why don't you get in touch?
Would you like them to bring back any of the Mortons? If so, which one? And also,
why?
what the heck's wrong with you?
Yeah,
why do you want to bring back the Mortons? They're rubbish.
Have you seen a doctor?
Can you think of a family that was any worse for Coronation Street than the Mortons?
Don't be
and
so
we're competing
mean.
with the likes
What
of...
is wrong with you? You're mean.
It was some other bad families. The Claytons, the Hopkins family.
The Hopkins family was the worst.
Yeah, the Flemings.
The Flemings, they can die in a fire.
They were Fleming useless.
Right, Daryl, I would have Daryl and Kaylee back.
Why would you have Kaylee back? Because
the actress is good, and I think she could be really quite fun. The character she plays in End of the Effing World definitely would fit in with Coronation Street.
Okay. I would honestly probably happily have Daryl back. Because he's got that link to David.
Yeah.
I can imagine him turning up and going, fit in again.
Oh, Dave, I need somewhere to sleep for the night, and just helping himself to the sofa and then not leaving.
He's like, I've had a really bad trip. I don't remember anything from 2008.
Do you mean drug trip?
Yes.
Okay.
The last 12 years have been blanked out of my mind. I think I live here. Can I live in Yasmin's shed? Has she still got one?
You cannot live in the garden, Daryl, because there is a hole there.
He'd probably stumble into the back garden number 6 and try and live in the chicken coop.
He'd just live in the hole. He'll winch him up and down.
That's not even his house.
I know, but there's a lot more space in the garden now that it's not just horizontal, Michael.
Okay, yeah. He'd also go to his old house and said, "Who put this orangery there?" I've gone up in the world.
I think Yasmin would actually, if she got out of prison, and Jeff is dispatched somehow, I can imagine her taking Daryl under her wing. I think there'd be quite funny, sweet scenes if you had Daryl and Yasmin together. But I think Ali would probably ruin everything by sticking her beak in.
Yeah, he would fit back in the same way that Graham would come back, and I'm sure that both he and Graham could share the same script, and the two actors could fight over it and see who wants to be in the show and read the lines. I don't know that
there's that much of a difference between the two characters, personalities anyway.
Yeah.
And everyone else
can just go and take a running jump into the Weatherfield Canal.
I think Mel fit really well into Weatherfield's mould of
boring police
women.
Yeah, and Jodie is just like, sorry, no idea. Even Jerry on paper, I could see working. He's a fun, cheeky, scousey, bit of a layabout.
He's not a layabout. He's supposed to be a hard-working tax dodger.
But he just didn't. And it's another example of you can't just stick somebody in who's been well loved in another programme, Michelle Collins, and hope that it's going to work on Coronation Street, because you gotta have the ideas to back it up. And it seems like they just threw all these Mortons in at the beginning of 2007, 2008, and thought we'll think of some stories for them later.
I can't really work out what the major storyline of the Morton family was.
Exactly, there wasn't one.
No.
There wasn't a major story for the Mortons. They just bumbled around for a bit.
And they couldn't even commit to what food they were selling from the takeaway.
Yeah.
In the title of the shop.
And then Mel had that Issues episode, which was dark and gritty and harrowing. And then somebody got hit over the head with a shoe.
Well,
so there
what a way to end it. It's like an Austin Powers film.
Sorry, Mortons, if there's any of you listening here going, everyone's forgotten about us, and here's a podcast that's talking all about us. I'm going to listen to relive my brilliant memories of working on Coronation Street. Sorry, we've...
Well, I think Coronation Street failed you, Mortons. I think you should start your own show.
They did. I hope that Coronation Street has learned a lesson from this family.
No. Have they? How?
Don't bring in a huge, massive family all at once and hope that we're going to like them all. Drip them in. Even the Nazirs were dripped in a bit, weren't they? Because Sharif and Cal came in for a bit, and then there was Alia and Yasmin, and then Zidane came in. Yeah. At least with the Nazirs, kind of the curse of number 6 is broken.
Yeah, I think the Nazirs are good. I think. Well, I still love Yasmin. That's it. You are now welcome to go and forget everything that I have told you. You won't need this
Mortons.
information for anything.
You're right. This isn't going to link to anything that ever happens again in Coronation Street. There's not going to be any stories coming up, spoiler alert, that says, remember Jodie Morton when she said such and such.
Yeah, or like, remember how this character from the 90s built this house, now it's got a sinkhole in the garden. It's not going to be like, do you remember that kebab I got sold in 2009? Well, I think it's come back to get revenge. Not going to happen. Just forget it.
Yeah, but you might one day be on a Coronation Street quiz team.
In
the really, really hard and obscure question rounds, it might
about
ask
the Mortons. Name 3 Mortons.
Yeah.
Don't say Teresa or Finley. That's our only advice.
That's it.
Was Wilford Morton, so he was Jerry's dad?
I'm going to say yes. He was.
I want the mum.
I think he was.
Let's move on. Let's move on to saying goodbye.
How long have we talked about the Mortons for?
Pretty good.
50 minutes. 50 minutes. That's not bad. That's not bad, is it? This is why we put them all together in one episode, because now we never have to talk about them again, and also it'll be about 5 minutes long.
Cruel. Right. Okay. We're done.
Mortons done. Write in and tell us your Morton memories.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for making it this far. That's it. Bye.